Happy Monday. Thanks for starting out your week with a brand new edition of Seattle Seahawks Today. I am Tyler Jones. And coming up on the show, we're talking about the potential return for Jamal Adams. We got a major update to get to in just a bit. Also, DreMont Jones making the move from the defensive line to the outside linebacker position. We'll tell you what all that entails. And Tyrice Knight, the Seahawks' fourth-round selection out of UTEP, was drafted as an inside linebacker, but he's training at the outside linebacker position as well. We'll talk about what that means for Knight coming up in just a little while from right now. Before we do that, folks, I want to know, quick fan survey for the 12s out there. Are you a Seahawks fan from the state of Washington? If you are, like the video. If you're a Seahawk fan watching from anywhere else around this great country, around the world, comment and let us know where you are at. We want to survey all the 12s out there and want to see where you guys are watching from. Let us know, and we'll get started here on this edition of Seattle Seahawks Today. Let's begin with Jamal Adams. The potential return for Jamal Adams has been discussed for a number of weeks. And now we have an update from ESPN's Brady Henderson on where things stack up right now on the idea of bringing Adams back to Seattle in 2024. Henderson reports the following. Seahawks sources have emphasized that if the team brings Adams back, it will be to play weak side linebacker in a part-time role. Given the tight financial situation, OverTheCap.com lists them with around $1.5 million in cap space after restructuring cornerback Mike Jackson's contract, and the fact that Adams is coming off of 3 straight injury-plagued seasons and has 0 sacks since 2020, it would likely be for something close to the league minimum. A reunion isn't considered likely, but it's a possibility the Seahawks planned on discussing internally after the draft. So nothing new on the linebacker part. We've heard that directly from John Schneider and Mike Macdonald both, that they're open to the potential return for Jamal Adams, but at the linebacker position, not to play safety, what he had previously played in Seattle. We heard Schneider say that the original intent when they traded for him several years ago was for him to play the linebacker position. But the news here is the portion from Henderson's report that the reunion isn't likely. Okay? Let me be very clear. Let me repeat that one more time. The reunion isn't likely. Thank God. Please don't sign Jamal Adams. For all that is holy, don't do it. Don't do it, John. Don't do it, Mike. For a number of reasons, from the injury issues to the player that Jamal Adams is on the field, a liability and coverage, and then the question marks about who he is as an individual, quitting on his team, not showing up to the Monday night game against Philly last year, calling a reporter's wife ugly on social media, all those things. No. Please don't sign Jamal Adams. Jamal was a former first-round pick by the Jets and has been with the Seahawks the last few seasons, and we haven't even hardly seen him on the football field with all the injuries that he's endured for the former 3-time Pro Bowler and first-team All-Pro. And the biggest thing that I think, among all the things we just mentioned, you bring up the idea, all right, let's play him at weak side linebacker in a part-time role. Let's play him in special teams. Let's see what he can do, right? Well, what have we seen the Seahawks invest in when it comes to the linebacker position this offseason? Guys that can cover, okay? They've gotten away from what we saw with Bobby and with Jordan Brooks and all that, guys that weren't great in coverage as of late. Jamal Adams is not going to be good in coverage either, folks. I've been saying this for several weeks, that when you look at what the Seahawks are doing when it comes to the emphasis of the coverage linebacker, Jamal Adams ain't that guy. That's where it doesn't add up. It's not 2 + 2 = 4. Okay, this is not the same math equation here. You look at the PFF coverage grades. It just doesn't make any sense at all. So I'm out on the idea of bringing Jamal Adams here. I'm glad to know that it's not likely at this point, but obviously these things can change. Should the Seahawks sign Jamal Adams? Answer our pinned comment today. Let me know what you think. HY for hell yes, HN for hell no on our pinned combo. Let us know in the comment section below. We are your one-stop shop for all things Seattle Seahawks here on Seahawks Today, as we bring you daily coverage like no one else does with news and rumors. We do our live shows on Wednesdays. We're actually going to be live for the NFL schedule release on Wednesday night, so don't miss out on that. And, of course, if we have any news that pops up, any breaking news, any big signings or trades, whatever it may be, you know we're going to talk about it here on the channel. If you're a diehard member of the 12s, you got to subscribe to Seahawks Today. Subscribe now, youtube.com/SeahawksTV. You'll be glad you did. Let's talk DreMont Jones now. According to reports, Jones has begun training to move from the defensive line to the outside linebacker position. After a disappointing 2023, the Seahawks acquire Byron Murphy in the draft, so Jones now trying to find somewhere else to potentially make an impact. Here's what you need to know. He's working with his personal trainer on this transition to the outside linebacker spot, and his personal trainer posted some videos on social media. You can go see for yourself. He played some edge last season after the Leonard Williams trade went down, but his season just wasn't great as a whole. Whether it was on the defensive line or playing edge, whatever it may be, Jones struggled in 2023 with just 4.5 sacks and 20 total pressures. The Seahawks can cut DreMont Jones next year and save $16.5 million against the cap. So DreMont Jones in a prove-it year where he wants to show that he is worth keeping around and go ahead and cash in on that money that he would be owed in 2025. Otherwise, that all goes bye-bye. Makes a ton of sense, I think, to move him to the outside linebacker position, because then you're looking at the situation of maximizing his potential. I think he's more of a natural fit playing edge, playing outside linebacker, as opposed to putting him on the defensive line. I think he's a little undersized for the defensive line personally. And also helps out Jarran Reed as well. It makes sure that Jarran Reed stays involved. And Jarran Reed was a better player than DreMont Jones last year. Also, it gives you a backup plan when it comes to Uchenna Nwosu's injury situation. Remember, Nwosu's season was cut short last year. He's expected to come back and start right away at the opposite outside linebacker spot from Boye Mafe. But at this time, we don't know where he's at with his progress. We expect that he should be back, but we don't know. At the very least, you have another option now with DreMont Jones as that possibility. Jones currently in the second year of a 3-year, $51 million deal that he signed with Seattle last March. And if the Seahawks had to do it over again, they probably would not have given DreMont Jones all that money that he was paid last offseason. So a chance to really show his worth this season. Began his career with the Denver Broncos, 73 career games played with 45 starts. Started 16 games last year for Seattle, played in all 17 in 2023. The statistics, you can see it was quite the down year for DreMont Jones, as he had the least amount of sacks that he's had in the last 4 seasons with just 4.5 compared to the year prior when he had 6.5. No forced fumbles, just 5 tackles for loss and 49 tackles there in 2023. Here's what we're looking at in the Seahawks defensive line right now. With the idea of DreMont Jones moving to outside linebacker, that means you go with Williams and Murphy, with Jarran Reed holding things down in the middle at the moment. But obviously this could change, and we'll see what the Seahawks do when it comes to training camp and all that. But at the moment, this is what we would expect with that idea. Meanwhile, with the Seahawks rolling with the defensive line looking like this, then you have to wonder, okay, what about for DreMont Jones in the linebacker position? Where does he stack up among the linebacker depth chart for Seattle? And here's where we see this going down for DreMont Jones when it comes to the linebacker position for the Seahawks at this point. We have him at the moment starting at the right outside linebacker position just because of the unknown with Uchenna Nwosu at the moment, okay? So let's just say he slides into that starting role opposite of Boye Mafe with Uchenna Nwosu behind. Whatever it may be, let's say when Nwosu gets healthy, then all of a sudden I got an incredible rotation of outside linebackers with Derek Hall coming into his second year, with Darrell Taylor back. We mentioned Nwosu, Boye Mafe. I mean, you got some options there when it comes to outside guys. And not to mention the possibility of what's ahead for Tyrice Knight, who we'll talk about more here in just a second as well, with him training at the outside linebacker position. Pretty fascinating stuff. So we'll dive into all that in just a bit with more on that situation. But before we do that, though, I want to ask you guys about DreMont Jones. Do you think he has a breakout season for Seattle in 2024? If you do, type B for buy. If not, type S for sell. Let us know in the comments section. Byron Murphy jerseys are on sale now. We know he's going to wear number 91 this season. So add a 9 to that one you see on your screen right there. And get yours at chatsports.com/Murphy. Got the home jersey, got the road jersey, got some others to choose from. Men's and women's options available, all different shapes and sizes. Go see for yourself. Chatsports.com/Murphy. You might stumble upon some free shipping as well. The link is in the comments and description of today's video. Check it out today, chatsports.com/Murphy. Is he an inside backer or is he an outside backer? I don't know, to be honest with you. But Seahawks rookie Tyrice Knight is expected to get reps at both inside linebacker and outside linebacker in the coming weeks. At rookie minicamp, it was all about the inside linebacker position. But Mike Macdonald, who you'll hear from here in just a moment, said that with the veterans coming back with mandatory minicamp and OTAs and all that, expect Knight to get some time at the outside backer position. Here's more from Macdonald. The first thing that pops out on the tape is he sees the game quickly. So key and diagnose. Instincts, I guess, is a good way to put it. But I like moving where the ball is going kind of before everybody else. Maybe in a good way to describe it, he stays square. I think he brings some thump at the point of attack. And then when we brought him in, we got to meet him, and we just really liked the person and competitor. His demeanor is soft-spoken right now, but I think he's a very clear communicator, and then just a guy throughout the process we really started to like. Now, I think at the moment, the Seahawks need more help at the inside linebacker spot than they do the outside linebacker spot. We showed you with all the different options the Seahawks have, from Nwosu to Mafe to Hall to Jones and on, and Darrell Taylor. I mean, it would be hard for Knight to get playing time with how competitive that outside linebacker room is. The inside linebacker room, yeah, you got your starters established, and Dodson there and Baker, but they don't really have depth behind them. Now, maybe long-term, Knight is more suited to play the outside linebacker spot. Maybe there's more potential there to maximize his abilities to play outside linebacker, but at least at the moment, I think inside makes a little more sense, but I trust Mike Macdonald and his track record to figure it out, that he's going to get the most out of Knight and maximize his abilities either way anyway. Knight, the fourth-round pick out of the University of UTEP. He was a first-team All-Conference USA selection in 2023, and he led Conference USA in tackles with 140 this past season. Also was the FBS leader in solo tackles this past year with 84 in 2023. So pretty dang good numbers from Knight. It was kind of a loaded linebacker class of options that the Seahawks could have gone with when Knight was available in the fourth round, but ultimately they liked what they saw out of Knight with, we mentioned, the 140 tackles he had, also the ability to get after quarterback, 4.5 sacks, 1 forced fumble. Coverage needs a bit of work. That's something that the Seahawks have said about Knight that he's got to improve on, as he allowed a QB rating of over 100 last year, no interceptions, 7 pass breakups, allowed under 300 yards and 1 touchdown. But nonetheless, an exciting prospect with some real potential there. Kind of raw, but I think somebody that the Seahawks can certainly work with. Do you believe in Tyrice Knight? Do you think he's the right guy for the Seahawks defense? Did you like that pick there in the fourth round? Some said it was a bit of a reach, but I think the good outweighs the bad. What do you guys think? Why for yes, in for no if you believe in Tyrice Knight. Thanks for joining us here on this edition of Seahawks Today. Back again tomorrow. We'll see you then. Subscribe now for free, and we thank you for joining us here on the channel.